truly, like, I say those first couple of days were like hell on earth. We had a very rough transition from the hospital to home, which I didn't know could be or would be a thing. I felt like everyone was like, oh, they're just gonna like sleep the whole time because they're so tired after labor and blah blah blah. And she did do that in the hospital,
right?
For the like day and a half that we're
when
there.
You have all the help there,
literally, she slept like an angel, pooped, ate, did the whole all of the things she was supposed to do. They sent us home. They were like, she's eating great because she's like pooping so much. Yeah, you're totally fine. Great. So I go home. That girl screamed her head off for almost like. We got home and she slept for a few hours. My mom came over to meet her. It was during like COVID times. So my mom just like came with a mask, brought us food. And after my mom left, like for the nighttime, screamed all night. Wow. Like we could not get her to stop crying. She wouldn't latch. She was like screaming so bad she wouldn't latch. It was like she had forgotten everything that we learned at the hospital. And I was like, who is this baby? What just happened? You latched so great right after birth. Like you were feeding at the hospital. Everything was great. And now everything is a disaster. Yeah. So I've even gone back and looked at some of the videos that I took that day because I'm like, what even time was it? Like, I have no idea. It's so funny because Drew and I remind each other of this like often about this like delusion that we had that we were just gonna be able to like put her in the snoo. This is literally what we did. We put her in the snoo. I like wrapped her up when she stopped crying. I had already given her a pacifier, so I'm like, here's your pacifier. Put her in the snoo. Lay down next to Drew. I'm like, turn off the lights. Good night.
The delusion.
1.5 seconds later, she's like, no, you know? And I'm like, oh, okay. So I get up, try to breastfeed her. That's when all the craziness started. So we were up all night. This happened for like a day, and then my mom called. When my mom was talking to me, she's like, she's probably hungry because she's like maybe not latching properly. You need to get formula. I was so against getting formula that early. I was like, no, we have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. They're going to tell us like I'm not going to give her any formula until they give us the okay. Right. Sure enough, she was right. We go and they're like, weighed her after each boob. And they're like, yeah, she's not getting enough. She had dropped like too much weight just in that 24 hours.
And that was amazing because the lactation consultant brought a scale and did all of that at my house.
You can feed on each boob and they weigh them after each boob.
What?
And so they knew that she was getting more from one boob than the other, but it was still like not a combined ounce, I think. And so she had gone down from like, she was born at 6'7". She went down to like 5'10".
She was tiny.
She was tiny.
Oh my
so she went down to 5'10", and they were like,
that's scary.
we need to do formula now. And like, you need to pump every hour on the hour when you get home, which I know we'll get into breastfeeding next. But yeah, it was truly like, I say those first couple of days were like hell on earth. Like I've never, it's like one, I didn't sleep for 3 days going into labor because of the contractions.
Right.
And then obviously you labor and you barely get to sleep after that. And I feel like it was just like a marathon with no sleep whatsoever that I was so delusional that literally after a few days I started hallucinating. Like when I was like awake thinking that I was asleep fully. And
that's weird that you say that because I didn't hallucinate, but I heard voices. And I barely told my husband that for the first time because we went home on New Year's Eve and this past New Year's Eve was my first New Year's Eve at home with the baby. And I was like, it's just so crazy because last New Year's Eve, I vividly remember laying in bed and hearing like a radio, like a guy talking on a radio, like very old radio. And I remember I told my husband this like a few weeks ago. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And I didn't tell you because I knew you were going to think I was crazy.
Yes.
But I was on so much medication, like in the hospital and like tired, dehydrated, like all of the things. I was coming down from literally just giving birth. Yeah. And I remember laying in bed hearing this radio and this like, I couldn't hear what he was saying or anything. It just sounded like an old staticky radio and I could hear like a really old style like announcer. Yeah. And I remember being in bed like, that's not real. Like, I know that's not real. Like I'm literally low-key going crazy right now, but I know it's because
but also like you could be like tapping into like your clairaudient, just like spiritual gifts.
Maybe. But I
is that what it is? Because I was just gonna say I be hearing static like that. More often.
Do you hear like an announcer?
Yeah, it's like people talking or like.
This is
clairaudient. I've experienced
now people are really gonna think we're all crazy.
What is this called?
Clairaudience. Yeah, when you can like, I think it's clairaudience. Audient. I gotta look it up. But yeah, it's like when you can hear voices. Yeah. And it's sometimes you can hear voices, but
not a clairvoyant.
Not clairvoyant is
a medium.
No. Well, yes, but like you can also, all of us have all the gifts. It's just whether we're tapped into them or not. Yeah. Or like how we can tap into them. But it makes sense because if we like take off all the layers because we're so exhausted.
Yeah.
So like it would make sense. We're at our most vulnerable space and we're so close to like a portal because like our bodies are portals. Where do our babies come from?
Yeah.
Like literally from the other side, you know? So yeah, it would make sense that we tap into.
My mind right now.
It would make sense that we tap into
it's crazy because I'm scared of like everything. Like I'm scared of everything, right? And normally,
like, don't show me the gifts. I don't want to know.
Like, normally this would scare me. Like this happening to me, and I remember just being so exhausted.
Yeah.
First night we got home, that I'm like, I actually don't care right now. Yeah. Like whatever this voice is saying, I actually don't care. And I just went to sleep hearing it, and it was gone when I woke up, and that has never happened to me since. It happened to me like a few months after, and I was just like, and I was also like going through still like newborn like exhaustion, and I'm like, nothing happened to me last time, nothing happened to me this time. I can't hear what they're saying. Like I could just hear a voice, and I'm not gonna
Nikki,
dive
I think
deeper.
you're about to like blow my mind.
Yeah,
because
what is
I'm not gonna lie, I've only told Drew about this like once because I really did think he would think I was crazy, but it happens to me multiple times a week, like every time before I go to sleep.
You're clairaudient. Yeah, clairaudient means having the ability to hear sounds that are beyond the range of normal hearing. Yeah. It's also a term used to describe someone who claims to have this ability. Claims.
But what are we hearing though? Like crazy. What exactly is it?
I mean, I think that's hard to tell. That could be like ancestors. It could be God. It could be other beings.
That scares me. That scares me.
Other like your other kids if you had other kids. Like because I always knew I was gonna have 2 children, and a psychic medium told me, she's like, yeah, they're both in heaven holding. I can see them holding your grandmother's hand who had passed away. But you can also communicate to your kids like who are not here yet or who have passed. It could be so many different things. But because we're also spiritual beings, right? We can tell them whoever they are, that we don't want it. Like I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to hear it. You can say I don't want this gift. But also if you say that, then it's also harder to get it back if you do want it. And if you want it back, is saying like, say someone you really love passed away and you can't connect with them because you said you didn't want that gift.
Yeah. It's funny because sometimes when I do see my husband fall asleep so quickly, sometimes I think the reason I told him the one time I did was because I'm like, I can't go to sleep like that because of like all the voices have to like do, like I have to get past like trying to. I try not to listen, but it's like it's still happening and I have to wait. I said like I have to wait for the noise to like calm down.
Yeah.
Because it eventually does when I'm like really down. But like the unwinding part, it's like for a while and I'm just laying there for like 15 minutes listening. And then, but it's like,
but you can't hear anything.
Words. Yeah, it's like
you can't
no real
understand
words.
it.
It sounds like a bunch of people having conversations.
Yeah.
Yes.
I always think like, is it previous conversations that I heard earlier in the day that are just replaying? Like I've always thought that's what it was, but they're voices that I don't recognize. So I've always thought, oh, it's probably when I'm passing strangers or something. My mind is just like reeling through the day or something.
Yeah.
But Nikki,
I think also,
mind blown.
It all right, but
who
also
knew this where this episode was going?
I know this was not where this episode was supposed to go, but that's just one of the things that like we keep in. Like I've never shared that with anyone other than Henry.
Hopefully
literally
everybody listening
is
like doesn't think we're crazy, and some of you guys are like, oh, this happens to me too.
Yeah,
has to, because what are the odds that you say it and I'm like, yeah, that's happened to me too.
But there's also like spiritual hygiene, right? Where if we are this vulnerable and we're open, then other beings could be like, she's open. Let's use her as.
I'm not open. Like
you can say, I'm not open. I don't want this.
I've always been scared. And I remember I knew that when my grandmother passed away when I was like 11 or 12, maybe 13. I was younger and I've always been scared. Like I don't watch scary movies. I don't like it just scares me, right? I don't know how to handle it. And I remember the night that she died, I remember saying, Abuelita, I'm too scared. I can't handle it. Don't come to me. Yeah. And my sister will get dreams of her. And I do not get dreams of her.
Because you blocked it.
Yeah.
Because you said you didn't want it. Yeah. You can say that you don't want those gifts if you don't want it. Yeah.
Wow.
Or you can also limit and set boundaries.
Yeah. And as I've gotten older, I still talk to her. And I'm like, okay, I'm like ready to see you. Like I want to see you now. I want to talk to you. Yeah. And I've had dreams where I don't see her, but I know in my dream that she's there and that we're like communicating, but I won't ever see her. Yeah. So it's like, it's like
because
she's
medium.
Keeping the boundary.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That is wow. This definitely took a turn, but I'm glad we discussed
didn't talk about this, but yeah.
Okay,
what we are going to discuss is breastfeeding more in depth. For the two of us and running on the tongue ties still, because I still want to hear what ended up happening after that.
And breastfeeding is such a journey.
The two of you are still on it.
Yes. I'm still on it. Yeah, and you are too.
But how many times are you breastfeeding a day?
A day, maybe once a day. At night, for sure.
Yeah.
But during the day, like maybe once. Like if I'm sitting on the couch, Sam will come over and he'll be like doing like the sign language because he wants.
Leche. Yeah, I am still fully 4 times a day breastfeeding, but I want to be selfish for a little bit. Yeah. And I'm ready to just
4 times a day when he's one is like so hard.
Yeah. I'm ready, like even coming here and recording with you guys. I'm on a schedule. Like I was talking to my dad on the way over here, and I'm like, maybe I'll visit you guys after. Oh no, wait, I can't. I have to go home because I have to breastfeed him. You know, like I have to breastfeed him when I leave. I have to breastfeed him when I get back. And so I'm just ready. And I've told my sister, like, I'm ready to be a little selfish and just not breastfeed, especially because we talk about baby number 2 possibly. And I'm like, I want space of not breastfeeding, of my body to myself for a while before I go fully back into that. And I haven't had that yet. So I can't even think of a baby of a baby number 2 seriously until I'm happens. Like, let me just be real quick for a little bit.
And that's not selfish at all.
Yeah, I feel like it's selfish, and I think that's why a lot of moms maybe don't want to stop, because that's how I feel. And I didn't think I'd be breastfeeding this long, you know, because my breastfeeding journey was so rocky in the beginning. I got mastitis 4 times in the first 4 months. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to last 6 months. There's no way I'm going to last 9 months. And now I'm like a little over a year. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to slow it down.
Start weaning.
So Nicole, you are still breastfeeding. Now it's a year and a half.
19 months.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was like, if I can make it to 12 months, that'll be like a huge
yes, it is.
But now it's like, I just kept going because there's not as much pressure. So I have been an undersupplier, I think, since day 1. So similar to you, Kristine, it was like Saint was just yelling, crying, right? And I thought it was, I called my pediatrician. I asked him why. He was like, oh, your breast milk is probably coming in too strong. I got the worst advice. He was like, just breastfeed for like 10 minutes at a time and then just stop.
Hungry.
He was hungry.
No.
And I didn't know he was hungry. So I would like have my app, I'd start my app.
But like, how could your pediatrician say that based off of what?
I don't know.
He was just trying to get you to do it in spurts so that the milk would come in quicker, basically, right?
I guess.
Because that's what they had me do with the pump, basically. It's like 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and take the breaks, because that's telling your body that more milk needs to come in.
But he didn't tell me.
Versus latching for longer,
right.
I guess.
But he didn't tell me like to cluster feed, or he didn't tell me that. He just said 10 minutes and then wait for the next feed. So he was really hungry, and it wasn't until I don't even remember how old he was, but he dropped down again his weight, because he was 7 pounds something ounces when he was born. He went up and then he dropped back down under his weight. I remember being like, why is he so skinny? Like his skin was like loose.
Was this the first few days still, or was this like 1 month in?
No, he was like a month in. And like we were really having a challenge. And so I remember we took him in to the pediatrician to see him in person. And the pediatrician was being sweet and was like, you know, it's rough being a mom and it's hard, and I hear you and you're trying your best. And
Wait,
it's okay.
I hate that tone that you're giving.
It's annoying.
I hate that tone. Like,
it feels
fine.
condescending, right? But then I remember afterward I looked at the paperwork when we got home, and it was failure to thrive. He put on the paperwork.
Oh my
goodness.
And I was like, why didn't you tell me that?
Yeah.
Why did you write that down on the paper?
Things?
Exactly. And I was like, and that hit me really hard, because then I felt like I was failing my son.
Of course.
Like and I'm thinking we're having like issues with sleep too. Yeah. It was because he's hungry. And because remember, he's sweating a lot.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just felt so bad. And so I was like, I'm going to do everything that I can to build up my supply, because there was such an immense feeling of shame around formula. Yeah. So I didn't want to do formula.
From who? Shame from who?
Family. Oh. And I was like, so I got a lot of shame from family. And so I was like, I I just felt like I just need to build it up naturally. So I was like increasing everything I ate, like all the good things, like taking all the cookies, all the oats, all the things.
Did you do the bars, the booby bars?
I did the booby bars. I did everything.
Those are delicious.
Everything.
Actually.
I baked them myself.
I love those little
my little late night snack.
Yes, those are little snacks.
This is my treat.
I had them on the nightstand. I'd be like, ooh, yummy.
I had a little cart that I would roll over.
I had the cart too.
It had all the snacks on it.
Yeah, I did all
silver lining when you're going through this.
And it's funny because this is a time that I also gained weight. So I dropped in weight like immediately, like back down to like pre-baby weight, and I was like, okay, body, all right,
okay.
But then right, but then I had to like pick up my supply. I gained so much weight again. And I was like, well, this is what I have to do for my son, you know? Yep. And so we ended up doing mixed feeding with also formula. That's when we found out that Saint is also, I guess, had an allergic effect to cow's milk. Because every time we would give him formula, he would like projectile vomit every time. Then I posted this on my stories, and a friend of a friend hit me and was like, girl, I'm an oversupplier. Are you open to receiving my donor milk? And I was like, yes.
Yes, yeah.
So I received donor milk. So we stopped doing formula. I was still breastfeeding him, and I was pumping, and I would supplement. So maybe like once or twice, or 1 or 2 bottles a day, I would supplement with her milk.
Did she live close enough where you could drive and pick it up?
Maybe like an hour away, but we still like maybe like once a month we would go get it from her. She was, she had so much milk. It was insane. And she was helping 3 moms.
Oh my God.
While also, and her son is like a month or 2 older than Saint. And so I was like okay with it, also considering her lifestyle. She's vegan.
That's what I was going to say. Like, did you ask her like, what's your diet? Like, what are you eating? Like, are you drinking out? Like, are you drinking alcohol? Like, you want to know all of those.
Of course, you have to know all those things too. And she was like, no, like she was not drinking any alcohol. She's vegan. She's like non-dairy. So she was really like making sure she was healthy. And so she's giving her son all this healthy stuff. So I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that he was a boy too. Something that I do not know if it's true. But something that I heard, again, do not know if it's true, is that if you get donor milk, right, from a mom who's feeding a girl, and you are feeding that milk to your boy, some of the hormones in there can affect his hormones that could later lead him to other sexual preferences, other gender identification.
What?
And the person that told me this, I don't know. So please don't like take this with a grain of salt. That there aren't enough studies. So it's like they're just now studying this to see if this is something that is true, something that affects children from a gender hormone.
Well, I feel like there's so many things that they say about the milk is breastfeeding. Obviously, like we know from breastfeeding that our composition of our breast milk changes based on the baby's needs and all that stuff. And like he was still getting that from you. So it's like any extra milk was like a bonus, because I think it's like 2 ounces of breast milk the baby has to get to like get the full nutrients from the day of breastfeeding, which is so great. But I do remember hearing a lot about that stuff because some people separate their AM and PM milk because the PM milk is supposed to have like melatonin in it, and then the morning one is supposed to help like wake them up and get them started. So I feel like there's so much information around like what actually is the truth, because other people are like, nah, that's not really true. It doesn't really matter. You can mix the milk and it's fine. But it's like you don't know. Like these studies are still coming out. I think we're all still trying to figure out and decipher and learn like what is actually the most important thing, you know?
My lactation consultant, I've never heard about that. I want to look into that. That's crazy. But she did tell me, because when you get discharged from a hospital, and I know you didn't give birth at a hospital, but when you get discharged from a hospital, they give you pain meds. And that's all you get, right? You get like really high Tylenol, like the highest Tylenol.
Like 800 or whatever. Yeah.
And ibuprofen.
Yes.
And I remember she came on the second day that I was at home. And she's like, what are you taking? And I hadn't taken anything yet. And I'm like, nothing yet. But I do have like, I wasn't taking anything only because I was so bloated from all of the medication that I got in the hospital. My ankles were literally jiggling. And it was freaking me out because when I would walk, I would feel them jiggle because I was retaining so much water. And my face, I didn't get this bloated or big during pregnancy until after I left the hospital because of all of the medication. So I remember getting home and I was just like, I actually want to detox a little bit. So when she got there, I was like, I'm not taking anything right now. And I'm just so exhausted. I'm just sleeping as much as I can. And she's like, okay, what did they prescribe you? And I told her Tylenol and ibuprofen. And she said, Tylenol, just a FYI, I'm not your doctor and I can't tell you what to take or not to take, but Tylenol has been linked to autism in moms that are breastfeeding and taking the Tylenol. And that's a really high Tylenol. Yeah. So I was like, really? I didn't know that. And so my husband and I looked it up, and there's a lot of research on that, at least. And I had never heard that. And obviously the hospitals don't tell you this. And that's just even more wild, because they're prescribing you this, but they don't tell you this.
Yeah. Tell you. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the time the lactation consultant and the doctors are on two different pages.
For sure. Yeah. For sure.
Way different pages. Like, I feel like our lactation consultant was telling us way opposite things of what the doctor was telling us, because the doctor is like, focus on your body. The lactation consultant's focus on the baby eating. And so it's kind of like, I feel like we were kind of trying to meet in the middle with what both of them were saying, because it is like, obviously you want to feel your best to be able to take care of your baby, but then also you want to be feeding your baby, especially those first few days, I feel like are so hard and like detrimental to the success of your breastfeeding journey. You know, it was just like, I don't know. I feel we got all sorts of information, but I think like for me, starting to breastfeed, it hurt. Like you're talking about the tongue tie being the pain for you. For me, the pain was like my uterus going back to like normal size.
Oh, you felt that?
Oh,
did you feel that?
No, I didn't. I've heard of moms feeling this. I didn't feel that.
What?
No.
I didn't know you would feel that.
Feel it.
No, I didn't feel that.
Oh my God. It was excruciating for
like
me.
What? Like pulsating?
Like labor pains.
I heard moms go through that too.
Labor pains.
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm. So my mom had it too like this, because when I started going through it, she was just looking at me like, I know it hurts. I know it hurts. She's like, you know, that's why she gave up breastfeeding, because it hurts so badly for her, which was the same case for me. Like I would latch Poppy on.
Wait, so you feel the uterus shrinking when you're breastfeeding?
Yes. Every time she would latch. It was like latch, take a first
I've never
gulp.
heard of that.
Mm-hmm. Literally my insides are like pulsating like I'm having labor again. Mm-hmm. And so I would be sitting there with her latched on, and I'd be like, oh my God. And like, poor thing. Like she's probably trying to look at me, and I'm just up here like, I'm dying. I can't do this. Wow. And I like the first few times, like I was like fully crying. Like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this.
Gosh.
And it wasn't like that at the hospital, because I think down there was so numb post-birth and like it was fine. But I remember the first time I did it in the rocking chair in her room at home, like I latched her and I was like, no, like nobody told me about this part. And I think maybe because a lot of people don't experience it, but it was literally like labor pains for me. And it was also like I did get like chopped nipple and like all that kind of stuff, and used all the butters and things like that.
I have that right now.
Yeah.
Oh I have that right now, because he was like
biting you?
He was biting me, and he was getting a little fussy. Like now he's doing this thing in the morning where he wants to cuddle on me. Like as he's nursing, but he's not drinking milk anymore. And I'd be like, okay, Papa, I know. And I'll take him off, and he just starts crying. And I'm like, I don't know why this is happening.
It's comfort.
But I'm chappy. Yeah. I'm chappy. My nippies hurt. My nippies hurt. And I was telling my husband, it's just like in the newborn stage. Like they literally, I haven't used nipple butter until I haven't used it in months, right? Yeah. And I'm like, I don't even know where it is at this point. I haven't put it on. Yeah. But they're chappy. They hurt. They hurt.
Well, I feel like 4 times a day is almost like a 4-month-old. Like you're still breastfeeding a good amount to be able to like be using the butters.
What's
and
crazy
like,
is some people, like when you look on Google, like how many, I look up like sleep patterns, because he just dropped one nap. So now he's one nap. Literally this week he dropped it. Yeah. So I'm like, now what is our schedule? Like what, like now with one nap, what changes? And when you look on Dr. Google, it says like 5 feedings a day. And I'm like, 5?
No.
What? I talked to my lactation consultant, she's like 4. And I'm like, when does that drop? Because again, I'm like ready to drop, but chapped nipples, yes.
Oh my
Still
goodness.
having that now.
Yeah, the chapped nipples were rough. And I think that's the number one thing people did talk about, like that I knew, okay, they could bleed, like all that kind of stuff.
Sucked.
Obviously they don't have any teeth yet, so they're not like biting you, which is so great. But for me, I think the hardest part was like, we did see a lactation consultant, thank goodness, once a week for a month. So we have Kaiser, and so they would make us come once a week. Literally the first appointment was 2 or 3 days after birth, which I was so pissed about. But when we went in, she helped so much, and it was a room full of other newborn that were same like week as Poppy.
Wow.
So I was kind of like looking over at people like, okay, like how are they, it's like, it's easier when you see it and how people are like positioning their bodies. And then they would bring over like the footstool and be like, okay, your legs need to be a little bit more up and your back needs to be a little straighter, or like get comfy and we'll adjust you and put the baby where we need to.
I wish I had that.
Oh my God. It was so amazing. I would not have probably gone as long as I did. Like,
so FYI, Kaiser has that.
Yes, FYI, Kaiser has that.
If you're watching and you have Kaiser, look into that.
Yeah, they even give you a little like graduate certificate. So I have a little picture of me and Poppy when we graduated the lactation class.
They put a little graduation hat on your boob. You move the tassel. Little tassel. Little tassel.
A nipple tassel.
Little tassel.
Stop
it. So great. They really should have that. Yes.
That's Nightclubs to Nightfeed nipple tassels available for purchase now.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. Yes. It was so like, I feel I didn't know, like we're saying, like learning to breastfeed. Like I did all the classes online, saw all the pictures of the babies, latching on with,
and it looks so easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, over here, it's like everyone has a different experience with the size of their boobs, everything. And I felt like because my boobs are so big, it was like, I felt like I was going to suffocate her. That was like my biggest scare was like, how is her nose going to like not be, because that was the hardest part. Like I have to hold the top of my boob down so that it wasn't going into her nose and she could actually breathe. Which like if you have big boobs, that is an issue. And I think like I also didn't know about the timing, like how we're saying, talking about the apps, like if you're planning on breastfeeding and haven't given birth yet or whatever it is, downloading the apps is super great because it helps you keep track of each side of the boob.
I never did that.
No,
I just let him chill there and I'm like, you done yet? I still do that. I just kind of like fill it out.
I think because I was like waiting for, like, as she got older, I only did it for I think the first month. But just because I was an undersupplier at first, which the pump, so when I got home and they made me pump every hour for 24 hours, which was another reason why I was having hallucinations, because that first full day I didn't sleep for more than 40 minutes at a time.
Pumping every hour. So they were like, you need to do it to make your breast milk come in. So I would pump, then I would go to her and like give her some and then pump again. And so after that, they had me pumping after my feedings in the night too. And so it made me then oversupply because now my body thinks, oh no, we need to produce way more. And I didn't know that you needed to like wear like pads to sleep or anything that I could like potentially leak all over everything. And so that first day when like the oversupply really shot in. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I don't have to wear those pads anymore.
I know. I never, and some people don't have to wear them.
I had the
some people don't
ladybugs
leak.
Because I was an undersupplier. I'm like, the ladybug from what's the brand?
I would be leaking all night.
It's a suction. No, I didn't have a pad.
Same.
I started using pads.
Oh, it like saves your milk?
It saves your milk.
I know.
It cups and it like has a little suction to it. So if I'm feeding him on one side, I put on the other. Because I was an undersupplier, I needed every ounce of milk. So I had the pads for a little bit, but I was like, girl, no, I need to save this milk.
I leaked everywhere.
I was leaking everywhere. I had those pads. I had to like buy more on Amazon because I couldn't keep up washing them.
Yes. I literally woke up and I was that first day where the oversupply came in. We were, I woke up and I was like, oh no. Like I thought I was hallucinating again because I had just probably slept for 1 hour. And I get up, I'm like, what happened? And I was just like looking at my husband like, I don't know what happened. No. And he's like, what? I'm like, did something spill? I don't know what happened. And then he's like, it's all over the bed. And it literally the whole sheet, my entire shirt, pants, like everything. And then it stains because breast milk is like oily or what, like fat. There's a lot of fat in it. Everything stained. Everything. That's another thing to know. I didn't know how many of my clothes would be stained from leaking breast milk because that shit is hard to get out.
Liquid gold.
I know. Nicole, you were talking about the pressure that you felt to breastfeed from your family, and I was getting the opposite pressure. I was getting the why is it so important to breastfeed? Like,
oh, you know what? My actually my partner's family was doing that to me. They're like, just formula.
Yes.
Why are you getting?
Yes. And I was like, I was getting that from certain family members. Like, why don't you just formula? And then also, which I never heard this, but they were like, oh, the breast milk will ruin their teeth. What? And I'm like, he doesn't even have teeth.
Oh my!
I've never heard of that.
I would hear that the breast milk wouldn't fill them up as much as formula. Like, give her formula because it'll like keep her stomach fuller.
Which is true because parents will rely on that for their kids to go to sleep. They'll give them formula at their last feeding so they sleep through the night, and that is true.
Tried both. We tried depending on the kid, I think, because we would formula feed some nights and then breastfeed other nights, and she would sleep better with the breast milk. And I think because the melatonin, like the melatonin doesn't really do that. Yeah. So I'd be like, maybe that's true with getting more full, but she sleeps better with the breast milk, I think, because my body is just like putting her to sleep,
Yeah.
So I was like, don't tell me that I need to be giving her formula. It's, whatever time of day.
Right.
It's you. I definitely think, obviously the older generation that's like, we just formula fed. Like, don't worry about it. Why are
you guys are okay?
Why are you
just
so
formula
about
feed.
This? Like, who cares? I'm like, I care, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, I was getting the pressure the other way, but I think whatever you decide, like, make sure it's for you.
Yes.
Which I did give him formula in the beginning because I just didn't know what was happening with my latch and his tongue tie, when I didn't know he was tongue tied. Yeah. And I went to formula, and thank God that there is that option, right? Yeah. Like, if I couldn't breastfeed, which I thought I really wasn't going to be able to because I have implants, even though I know that you can, I just thought I wasn't going to be able to.
Yeah.
So, like, we were prepared with all kinds of formula depending on what formula he would like. And that was okay with me. But I'm still breastfeeding, and I know like a lot of my friends formula feed, and it's literally whatever works for you because everyone is so different.
Fed is best.
Fed is best.
Fed
and
baby.
A happy, healthy mom can provide much better care to a baby than an exhausted, stressed. And I say that being an exhausted, stressed mom at that time. And I wish that I would have had somebody who was more in my ear saying those things. And my mom definitely was. I wish that I would have listened a little more,
Yeah. So many things that we have to think about as moms when we're breastfeeding, but as long as our baby is fed and as long as we are happy and healthy.
And those first few weeks, you will get through it.
Yes, you will get
through it. It'll be a blur, but you will get through it. We promise.
Yes. And we will talk about bonding with baby because that is a whole thing that did not come the way I thought it would happen. Same. It didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. So let's get into that. We are talking about Club Newborn. All things newborn next episode.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us on Nightclubs to Nightfeeds. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we are, of course, always continuing the conversation on our social media. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Nightclubs to Nightfeeds. That's at Nightclubs, the number 2, and then Nightfeeds. Make sure to follow us and let us know if there's a topic you want us to cover. Can't wait to chat next time.